Hopefully, folks, hopefully you had a chance to look over the samples on the previous Canvas page. That's our end goal. That's what we're trying to get. Now, there are a little bit, some of the criteria is a little bit different just because of the, we're in a week-long program and we're trying to get as much out of this as we possibly can that would elicit credit, right? So I'm going to be taking you through the inquiry process as a whole. But today, the only thing you're going to be really focused on is that initial step, creating a research question and starting to evaluate sources, okay? The rest will play itself out tomorrow, okay? So you have access to these slides, right? If you ever need to go back to it, you have access to this video. If you ever need to go back to it, it's no problem. But this is basically what the week looks like. This is what we're doing, right? Question, find information, present information, boom, shakalaka. Excuse me. So what is the inquiry process, right? So it's the idea we're taking this big thing, whatever this thing is, thing that interests you that deals with social science, which is really almost anything. You could talk about race disparity. You could talk about impact of COVID on the world economy and society. You could talk about food. Hey, see that? Food. I like food. It interests me. But if I want to do my research question about food, I can't just say like food. Oh, what is it? Right? What about food? What do you want to know about food? Well, I'm interested in social justice issues. I'm interested in inequality and how do we circumvent those problems in our society, right? So how do I measure that with food? Well, food is not equally distributed, and especially the types of food are not equally distributed, right? So I start with this giant monolithic idea of food. What are some problems that surround it? That's one way you can narrow it down. What are some problems or issues surrounding food in the modern day United States? Food insecurity. Food insecurity is a real problem, especially for adolescents, children in the United States, depending on what part of the United States you're from and your socioeconomic background, right? Do you have access to a steady supply of healthy food? Well, I know that's not true, so I'm going to look into that. How does that deal with geography, spatial, scale, region? Where do we see food insecurity? Why is it prevalent in some neighborhoods, some cities, some towns, and not others? Right? What are the symptoms? What are the problems that are associated with food insecurity? So those are just me thinking, right? What are some things I could inquire about surrounding food? So eventually, right, you whittle this down. This isn't a process that takes 2 minutes. This process takes some thought. And really it takes like a month, but we're going to do it in a day because it's practice, right? We're practicing the skill. So I get to giant idea of food to how can we alleviate regional scale food insecurity? So like how can we look at parts of Southeast San Diego, or how can we put like South Central Los Angeles, or Houston, right? Parts of, why do we see neighborhoods that have conflicting or different access to food, and what's its impact, right? Boom, there's a lot that you can find on that, by the way. So what do I know about the topic? I already know about food a little bit, right? And social justice to some extent. So I understand that it is a problem that's already out there. You might not have that background information. That's what Google's for, right? It's totally fine. If you're thinking about a question, go ahead and Google it. Has it been answered? It can be answered in a word, in a sentence, in a statement. What are the underlying issues surrounding it? You're going to find that if you just do a quick Google search, right? It's going to help you. What do I need to know to answer my question? Could it be answered? Is it answerable? Like how many angels can sit on the head of a pin? Can't answer that, right? So you want to go back to the slides on this point. There's two tools for you. If you need, right, there are possible inquiry project topics here, not questions, but topics that you can whittle down yourself. And then here's a brainstorming tool. It's not an assignment, but it's a tool to help you kind of formulate your ideas, okay? Brainstorming, it's linked on the slide next to you, next to this. So the KWR chart, this is an assignment. You are going to be completing this and turning it in after you post it for feedback. Know, want to know, not what to know, want to know, and then your final research question, or at least working questions, right? You have a KWR chart here. You're gonna want to fill it. It's a tool. Okay, again, it's created to try to help you, right? What do you? I'm not sure if it's recording right now. Are you recording? What do I already know about my topic? Why is it a problem? What are the issues around it? So that's kind of trying to pull you into that research question. What do you need or want to know about it, right? Why is it something you're interested in? That's another question to ask. And then possibly some research questions, right? These are just your thoughts. Boom, this is not finalized. It's a rough draft. You're just spitting mental boogers, I'm sorry, at that, okay? Sub-questions. People get confused. You have your overarching research question and the smaller questions that you need to answer to understand the larger question are your sub-questions. They're like a claim versus a thesis, okay, in English. So you're drafting, right? First draft, RQ, sub Q1, sub Q3, 3, etc. It doesn't have to be your final one, right? But it has to be an attempt, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then you're going to take this and you're going to post it to a discussion board. And then you're going to get feedback from each other in your discussion board. Then based on that feedback, I'll be there too. You might need to revise your research question. The hope is within an hour of today, you have your research question and sub-questions, and you can start that evaluation process of resources. Okay? Bye. I'm in the room somewhere. Ask a question.